Hey everybody, and welcome to another segment of AstrologyAnswers.com's weekly forecast. My name is Terence. The week begins on Monday, December the 23rd, 2024. This is an important week because Jupiter is going to be squaring Saturn. But let's start with Monday. I always start with where is the moon, because the moon represents the public tone, the public reactions. And the moon will start the new work week in Libra. Libra, that moon in Libra is very sociable, it's very cooperative, it's friendly, and it's seeking harmony and win-win situations. So that's good. And in the morning, 8, 9, 10 a.m. Pacific time, the moon will be in harmony with communication Mercury. So discussions, there could be a lot of cooperation and diplomacy with that moon to Mercury, being able to express your feelings more comfortably. And by late afternoon, 4, 6 p.m. Pacific time, the moon will be trining, or the best flow of energy, to expansive, optimistic Jupiter. And that could also be a very good time to be getting for traveling or making educational plans or even future plans for the new year. On the 24th, Christmas Eve, the moon in harmonious Libra is now void of course from 2:45 a.m. until midnight, right there going into December 25th. When the moon is void of course, it's no longer making aspects to other planets, so there's no activity. And so basically what this means is the energy is flat and unproductive. And now it's good to stay the course, keep doing what you've been doing. It's good for reflecting and resting, but it's not advised to be launching important new events. And on the 24th, Jupiter is going to be squaring Saturn. Jupiter, this happens every few years. Jupiter is about expansion, and Saturn is about contraction. The first time this happened was in August. The second time is this end of December. But you would have been feeling it in the past couple of weeks, going into the first part of January. And one last test is June 2025. So this major transit can bring in a lot of economic worries, push, pull. But if you stay focused and work hard, you can accomplish a lot of your goals. It's just you need the perseverance, you need the endurance. Now, on Christmas, December 25th, the moon is now in Scorpio. Scorpio is passionate and intensifying feelings. But Scorpio likes more privacy. It's very favorable for introspection. By 7, 8, 9 a.m. Pacific time, the moon, the emotional moon, will be in a square or hard angle to Mars, impatient, irritable Mars. And Mars, remember, is retrograde. So it's causing, Mars retrograde can trigger more irritability, more frustrations, taking more effort to get the same jobs accomplished. And then having this really intense moon in Scorpio in this stressful angle to a retrograde Mars, and it's Christmas, the first part of Christmas, there might be some tempers flaring up, some stress, But that's only for maybe 2 hours, maybe an hour to 2 hours, around 8 a.m. Pacific time. Then it moves on. And immediately after the moon moves off of impatient, irritable Mars, all like within an hour, it's going to be in harmony with the Capricorn sun. And that moon to the sun can allow feelings and energies to come more together, be more easily expressed. And so it could be very favorable for forgiveness on a Christmas day. On Thursday, the moon continues in intense, passionate Scorpio, but now communication Mercury is going to be opposite Jupiter squaring Saturn. So decisions of Mercury could be this push-pull, this worrying about your future plans, Jupiter, the Saturn, being much more conservative and cautious. On Friday, the moon goes in Scorpio, goes void, of course, at 6:25 a.m., but only till 11:48 a.m. Pacific time, at which point that brooding, moody, private Scorpio moon will go into Sagittarius. Sagittarius is uplifting, it's optimistic, it's adventurous, and the moon in Sagittarius, fiery Sagittarius, will be in harmony with Mars, but it's the retrograde Mars, around 6-7 p.m. Pacific time, going into a Friday evening. So with that moon, the public tone, your feelings, with that Mars is a lot more activity. There's more robust energies. And the last half of the day into Saturday, but the last half of the day Pacific time, pleasurable Venus, romantic, sociable Venus, will be triggering Uranus, innovative, unpredictable Uranus. But this is a Friday evening in this major holiday weekend, and that Venus-Uranus could be really favorable for celebrating, like really starting early, the New Year's celebrations. There could be some unexpected, that's Uranus, infatuations with the Venus. But it can be a very, very sociable time that might happen unexpectedly. You might be invited to a party at the last minute, or with that Venus-Uranus, you might have not been expecting much. You might have even thought, well, maybe I shouldn't even bother going. And then you go, and it's unexpectedly a great time, especially with that moon in harmony with an enthusiastic Mars. On Saturday, the moon in upbeat, robust Sagittarius is going to be opposite the Jupiter squaring the Saturn. And that's peaking in mid-afternoon Pacific time. So there's a lot of this emotional optimism and expansion with the Jupiter, but then maybe because of everything else that's been happening, then it triggers a lot of cautiousness and being more conservative. So again, there's this emotional push-pull. So there's a lot of that this week. And on Sunday, as the moon continues in Sagittarius, just adventurous, friendly Sagittarius, around noon into early afternoon Pacific time, the moon will be in harmony with pleasure-seeking Venus. This is good for relationships. It's good for continuing to celebrate. Maybe since it's Sunday of this big weekend, there might be an afternoon party or a wonderful Sunday brunch. And the moon in Sag goes void of course at 3:35 p.m. Pacific time until 8:38 p.m., at which point it goes into Capricorn. And Capricorn is very pragmatic and organized and sensible. But two things I'm thinking as the moon at the end of Sunday goes into Capricorn. Capricorn is very traditional energies. And going into the new year's in the next couple of days is universally a major traditional, triggers a lot of traditions for cultures all over the world. The other thing is that Capricorn is very business, very organized, very business-minded. And we're going into the last couple of days of the new year. So a lot of people have to get their bookkeeping together, their end-of-the-year taxes together. And so that will all be favorable with that Monday, Tuesday, with that moon in pragmatic, sensible Capricorn. I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you next week with my next segment. Until then, be safe and well. Happy holiday.